Let's talk about Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers, man. This is a tough situation for the San Francisco 49ers because of all the injuries, but I will say this. I want you to breathe in. I want you to breathe out. If you are a 49ers fan, you're going to be okay. There are a lot of winnable games this season, but Kyle Shanahan has to stop getting outcoached. When you look at their losses this season, there's some tough losses. They lost against the Kansas City Chiefs. Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions in that game. He did not have his best day. We go back a couple weeks ago. They lost against the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, Brock Purdy threw an interception at the end of the game. It was not Brock Purdy's fault because the offensive line let up, but you can still say, hey, he threw an interception in that game. What do I mean that Kyle Shanahan is being outcoached? Take this for example. The offense with Christian McCaffrey last season. They're one of the best offenses all season long in every single unit. Third down, first down, red zone percentage. Their red zone percentage is terrible this season. It is abysmal. It's horrible. Go back to the Arizona Cardinals game. Kyle Shanahan is getting outcoached by Jonathan Gannon in the red zone. I don't understand why he wants to pass the football so much in the red zone area. You have Kyle Juszczyk. You have Jordan Mason. Have Kyle Juszczyk be that fullback that he is. Run the football behind him. Get the ball in the red zone. Jordan Mason has been a very good running back in this system. He is no Christian McCaffrey, and I understand they're missing him right now. He's one of the best players in the NFL, but guess what? He's not coming back anytime soon. And if the 49ers were to be smart, I would not even rush him back this season. Achilles tendonitis, not in just one leg, but in both legs, that's a serious injury. Tendonitis usually comes when you overwork a muscle or you overwork a joint. And the best way to go out there and fully heal is to get rest. And that's what Christian McCaffrey should be doing right now. When he's 100%, put him on the field. But Jordan Mason is more than good enough to go out there and hold things down. He's not going to be able to catch the football at the backfield. You're not going to motion him out as a wide receiver. You're not going to do any of that. And that's okay. But you find ways to coach around that. That's what elite coaches do. Look at what Andy Reid has done this season with the lack of weapons with Patrick Mahomes. He's coached around it. Look at Kevin O'Connell with Sam Darnold. He goes to his strengths. He doesn't go to his weaknesses. He's putting Brock Purdy in bad situations. Now, I'm a huge Brock Purdy fan. I'm going to be real here as well. Brock Purdy has not played his best this season, but he's not the reason why they're losing football games. He's not even one of their biggest reasons. It's this offensive line that is abysmal. Besides Trent Williams, these guys cannot pass protect. He's running for his life. This was a problem last season. And this was a problem against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. If they block Chris Jones on one play and he's not in the lap of Brock Purdy, they potentially win the game. He had a wide open touchdown to Deebo Samuel, but he couldn't get it to him because Chris Jones is in his face. So what did they do to the offensive line? Nothing. But they definitely win the first round. They drafted Ricky Pearsall, by the way. And I understand why they did that. They thought they'll be in a situation where they had to move off of Brandon Ayuk. They had to move off of Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk went out there. He held out for his money. And they gave him his money. Good for him. He started the season off slow. He had one good game this season. This season, was very disappointing. He gets hurt against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's out for the rest of the season. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward. He is still a top wide receiver in the NFL, but this was very disappointing with Brandon Ayuk. For him to miss all that time at training camp, being a major headache and going out there, getting his money and just being injured this season, that sucks and that's bad luck. And before anyone wants to come on here and say anything, Nick Bosa was a headache about his money as well. But when you look at them, they won't have Brandon Ayuk anymore this season. Deebo Samuel was questionable this Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. He was dealing with pneumonia-type symptoms coming from his chest. Hopefully he is okay right now. He just got released from the hospital. But you have George Kittle. He's fully healthy. He's ready to go. That's a top receiving tight end. Get him the football. Juwan Jennings missed the game against the Chiefs as well. This is already a 49ers team that struggled to go out there and beat man coverage. We saw that last season. Why did they lose against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? They could not separate off of man coverage besides Brandon Ayuk, and they took out their best target in this game. But Kyle Shanahan has to find a way to beat that man coverage, and he did it against the Seattle Seahawks. He used motion in that game. He didn't use any motion against the Kansas City Chiefs, especially in the second half, to help out Brock Purdy. And the 3 interceptions, it is a bad look. That is on Brock Purdy. He has to do a better job taking care of the football. But Kyle Shanahan's not putting him in the best situation. And we always come around to this point when Brock Purdy, when he has a bad game, here comes the haters. He's a game manager. See, he can't do anything without Christian McCaffrey. What is he without Brandon Ayuk? What is he without Deebo Samuel? elite quarterback. I'm going to die on that hill even if I'm by myself. Brock Purdy is not the reason why this team is losing football games. Brock Purdy has saved the job of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Let's rewind for a second. When they traded all that draft capital to get Trey Lance, if Trey Lance was a bust with this team, we were heading to that territory, and Brock Purdy wasn't able to go out there and perform as well, Kyle Shanahan would have been fired at the drop of a hat, and the same with John Lynch. But instead, they went out there. They drafted this kid with the last pick in the NFL draft. He performs like a top quarterback in the NFL. They go to the NFC Championship. He hurts his elbow. Maybe they win that game. Then the next season, he takes them to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy has benefited a lot from the talent he's played with, but he's also helped elevate this talent as well. Brock Purdy is more than just a system quarterback. We've seen other quarterbacks play in this quote-unquote system. Brian Hoyer played in this system many years ago. Not the same exact team, but he played in this system. He wasn't as successful. Jimmy Garoppolo had some successful seasons, but let's be real here. He cost him a lot of football games, and Trey Lance wasn't able to play at all in this system. Brock Purdy is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. And before that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had 3 passing touchdowns to 0 interceptions against the Seattle Seahawks. And you had so many people ready to crown him once again as being a top quarterback in the NFL. He still is. So be careful who you listen to, because you can listen to a lot of Hall of Famers. I'll listen to a guy like Drew Brees. I'll listen to Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. They praise this kid. At the same time, you'll come across some Hall of Fame tight ends, some Hall of Fame wide receivers, and they'll say, he's not elite, he's not this, he's just a game manager. A lot of it is jealousy because they never got to play with the talent he's playing with, and because he wasn't a first-round pick. Let's just be real about it. This kid wasn't a first-round pick, and a lot of guys in the high-profile media on TV, they don't want to admit that they were wrong. This kid is special. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. He's going to have bad games. Just like how Patrick Mahomes has had bad games this season, it's going to happen. I'm not going to jump off the Brock Purdy train just because he had 3 interceptions against the Chiefs. Is it a tough look? Yes. But at the same time, he could have had 2 passing touchdowns against the New York Jets if Brandon Ayuk does not drop the football. When you look at that Arizona Cardinals game, part of the reason why they were in that game is because Brock Purdy was able to go out there and throw them back into the game, and they lost that game by a point, and they lost to the Los Angeles Rams. This team is dealing with so many problems. Bad offensive line protection. Special team coverage is terrible. They're down to their 3rd kicker. But when you look at this special team coverage, the special team coach deserves to be fired. They can't cover anyone. They're terrible on the special teams, and you rarely hear about special teams being bad, but it's putting the quarterback into short yardage situations. They can't cover. They need to button those things up. And Kyle Shanahan has to be better as well. And even though I'm defending Brock Purdy, he has to go out there and he has to go and play better as well. It's tough to do it because of how bad the offensive line is, but he's played better in the past with a worse offensive line, in my opinion. The offensive line had a lot of problems last season. He was able to run out there, run for his life, and make amazing throws like how he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I still think that this team will make the NFL playoffs. They're going to get healthier. They may see Christian McCaffrey this season, but they face the Dallas Cowboys at home. That should be a win. You go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, they don't have any top wide receivers. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're both out. That's 2 wins right there. Then they go against the Seattle Seahawks. They have owned the Seattle Seahawks over the last few years. That's 3 wins right there. They go against the Green Bay Packers. That's tough for them. That's a toss-up. They go against the Buffalo Bills. That's tough as well. Then they face a rookie and Caleb Williams at home. They face the Los Angeles Rams. I think that they will split with the Rams this season. Then they go against the Miami Dolphins. Kyle Shanahan should be able to go out there and now coach his close friend, Mike McDaniel. So we will see what happened in that situation, but it's a lot of winnable games this season. As long as they have Brock Purdy and they have a strong run game with Jordan Mason, you have Trent Williams, George Kittle, Jawan Jennings is coming back as well. Deebo Samuel should be able to give you some good production in the future. You're going to be okay. They may even go out there and trade for a wide receiver. Kyle Shanahan says everything's on the table. For one, he just has to coach better. And for 2, Ricky Pearsall's here. Now, this is a guy that didn't get to go out there and train as much. He was dealing with shoulder injuries coming out of college, but he's a special player. It's the reason why you drafted him in the 1st round. And thankfully, he was able to recover from that gunshot wound that he suffered because a young punk tried to rob him in California. So his comeback story is pretty unique. I would like to see him go out there and get a chance. But as long as you have George Kittle, you can run this offense through him. Will they be able to make a deep playoff run right now, in my opinion? No. They have too many injuries. And Kyle Shanahan doesn't look like the same coach. I'm also going to say this as well. I'm not going to say go out there and fire Kyle Shanahan. I think that this team has reached their ceiling with Kyle Shanahan. They've went to the Super Bowl numerous times over the last couple of years, and they've lost against the Kansas City Chiefs and those Super Bowl matchups. I understand the first matchup was with Jimmy Garoppolo. They lost that one due to those interceptions, due to those turnovers. Then you look at the second Super Bowl that we just moved off of. They were up in that game as well. And Kyle Shanahan does not have the best track record in the Super Bowl because he was an offensive play caller for the Atlanta Falcons when they let the Patriots come back when they were up 28-3. And these are factual things. I'm not making any of this stuff up. They were up on the Chiefs in both Super Bowls. They lost that game. At a certain point, we can give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit. But we also have to look at Kyle Shanahan this way as well. You've blown some Super Bowl leads, man. And you haven't been the best coach over the last few years with the talent you've been given. Yes, he's developed this talent, but at the same time, those players go out there, they run those routes, they get open. As a play caller, at times, he's been amazing. And I still regard him as one of the top head coaches in the NFL. But I am concerned about this team in the future because they're going to pay Brock Purdy a lot of money. Will Christian McCaffrey be able to stay healthy over the next couple of years? But when you look at it from this season and this standpoint, I think that they will be okay. They should be able to make the NFL playoffs. You look at their division, it is tough. The Seattle Seahawks, they are a tough team. You don't want to go out there and just step down and act like they're not a tough team. I think that they can handle them twice this season. You have the Arizona Cardinals. You have to beat them, and you have to beat the Rams as well. You have to split with these teams. And I will also say this. The defense hasn't looked the same since DeMeco Ryans left to become the head coach for the Houston Texans. The defense this season has been better. Give Nick Bosa a lot of credit. Give Leonard Floyd a lot of credit as well. They're missing Javon Hargrave because they have struggled to stop the run at times, like how they struggled to stop the run against the Arizona Cardinals and James Conner. So pay attention to that. Hufanga has missed a lot of time this season, and he missed majority of last season as well, dealing with a knee injury. You have good players there. A lot of it is injuries as well, but I'm not going to give Kyle Shanahan this pass. This team should have won the Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs. They should have had that game won. And it came down to dumb play calls over and over again. It's the little things that are beating Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers right now. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.